I think anybody has the ability to be an entrepreneur, but I don't think entrepreneurship is for everybody. And every week I get clients into my business who are ready, so they say, to be an entrepreneur. And every week I get clients who fall off because they weren't ready to be an entrepreneur at all. And so today I'm going to cover 5 questions that you need to ask yourself before you go digging into entrepreneurship to make sure that it's right for you so you don't waste your time. So let's get into it. And so entrepreneurship is something that a lot of people are chasing these days. Now, I'm going to tell you why. Entrepreneurship has been romanticized lately. You know, people get onto these apps and they talk about be an entrepreneur. You don't want to work for anybody anymore. Be an entrepreneur. But just like it takes a skill set to do a lot of things, it takes a skill set to be an entrepreneur. And not only does it take a skill set, it takes certain innate things, certain innate characteristics that you need to have to really be successful at this entrepreneurial thing. So in this video, we're going to talk about 5 of the top questions I think you should ask yourself. But there are a ton of other questions that you should be asking yourself. So to help you out, of course, I've created a guide. It is a worksheet, essentially. Well, not a worksheet. It's just a guide of 34 questions that you should be asking yourself before you start your entrepreneurial journey. So it's an additional set of questions that will be added to these 5. These 5 are on there, but there's additional questions on there. So you get a total of 34 questions that you can ask yourself to ensure that you are ready to take the entrepreneurial plunge. But today, let's dig into the 5 that I feel are the top ones you need to ask yourself. And the first question is, you want to ask yourself, am I comfortable with the inherent risk associated with entrepreneurship? Now, this is important because entrepreneurship is risky, right? Let's just put it out there. It is risky. Some entrepreneurial endeavors are more risky than others. So, for example, if you want to start a restaurant, that could be very risky, right? You put a lot of money. It takes a lot of money to start a restaurant. And guess what? What if people don't like it and you don't make any of that money back and then you have to close? Very risky, right? You run the risk of people not liking it. You run the risk of just bad product. There's so many variables when you're talking about a restaurant. Now, a digital business, maybe. Okay, so it's not as risky. However, there are still risks with it, right? Just naturally, because you're putting time, you're putting blood, you're putting sweat and tears into this business that may not produce any fruit of your labor, right? I know we talk about business all the time and blowing up and being successful. It takes a lot of tenacity. It takes a lot of resilience. It takes a lot of dedication and consistency to make that happen. And so because of that, there are just naturally inherent risks with starting business. And you have to be the type of person that is okay with those risks. Now, me, baby, I don't know if it has to do with the fact that I'm an Aries, so it's just that Aries fire, or that I was born into an entrepreneurial family, right? This whole work for people thing, it totally escaped me. That's why I sucked at it. It totally escaped me because I grew up in an entrepreneurial family. It was what I was born into. It's what I knew. But baby, it's risky. It's risky. And I'm around for this risk. I thrive on the risk, right? Some people, not so much. So before you go jumping into entrepreneurship, because everybody's talking about it and it sounds real sexy right now, you want to make sure that you have the ability to deal with the risk. The next thing you want to ask yourself, can I handle financial uncertainty and potential setbacks. Now, the kid has been financially uncertain her entire life. The girl, your girl is bad with money. Not really bad with money. Yeah, maybe really bad with money, but there is a rhyme or reason, right? Because I am a do it now type of person, right? Do it now because you may not be around to do it later, right? Where none of us are promised tomorrow. So, I'm okay with risk. Financial uncertainty and potential setbacks, I'm just like, whatever. But not everybody can operate under those conditions. For some people, that is just too much weight to bear, the financial uncertainty, right? Because you don't know when you're going to make money. And money doesn't necessarily, even with digital products, right? Money isn't always consistent. There's seasonality to your business. There are seasons where people just simply spend more money, right? And it could just be based on your particular business. So maybe your particular business is you are a student success coach. You probably see higher enrollment rates into your business when school is going back. You might see a drop off during graduation months, right? During the months that school is ending. So there's seasonality. And so where maybe the last month you made 12 grand, this month you might only make 3. And you need to be able to prepare for that. Don't go out here buying a whole bunch of red bottoms and all of this stuff with money you have not made yet. People get used to those paychecks rolling in every couple weeks and they spend knowing that they have this money coming in next week or 2 weeks later. You cannot do that in your business. So, can you deal with the financial uncertainty and the potential setbacks? What if something goes awry in your business and you get set back? Now you got to tighten your belt and you got to be able to deal with that. The third question: do I have the technical skills or am I willing to learn how to navigate online platforms and tools essential for running a business in 2024 and beyond? This is huge. Like I said in my first video of the year, in business in 2024, you have digital components. There's no way around it. If you are not using some form of digital components in your business, then you are doing bad business in 2024. It just is the essence of where we are. But I meet a lot of people who want to get on here and they come to me and they say, I want to sell digital products, but I don't want to learn any of the tech. Okay, that's fine. Just make sure you have enough money at the start of your business to hire people to do that, right? They don't have to be your employees. They could be independent contractors, freelancers, what have you. But you got to have enough money to pay them and pay them consistently so you can consistently have business. Now, can you do that? And even when you do, guess what? If something goes awry, you need to be able to troubleshoot right away, because you might reach out to one of those people and they say, okay, it's 24 hours, it's 48 hours before I can get back to you. And your business might be down for 48 hours if you don't know how to do some basic technical troubleshooting, some basic technical skills that you need to have to run your business. If you're not willing to do that, then don't go in the business. Okay? It's that simple. So you gotta be able to do these things. Listen, guys, we have potential setbacks all the time because your girl is having some technical issues. I just deleted something by accident. So holy cromoly. I did it again. Okay. So see, this is a good chance for y'all to see sometimes stuff just isn't perfect. You just gotta go with it and make it happen, but that's what we're gonna do. Okay. So the fourth question that you want to consider: Have I considered the potential initial costs and ongoing expenses? So we just talked about this. We just talked about this in a little bit, but you need to consider the potential costs and ongoing expenses, right? And one thing that I like to talk about with people who are making the transition to entrepreneurs, social workers particularly, is you need to consider the fact that you don't get vacation time when you become an entrepreneur. So what do I mean? Yes, you can take vacation. You can take vacation whenever you decide you want to take vacation. So here in my business, in the Social Work Entrepreneur Academy, and you can ask my social work moguls over there in the Patreon community, I take the entire month of July and I take the entire month of December off. Now, luckily for me, I have things in place in my business, right? That allows for me to continue to make money during that time I'm off. I have my membership. I have my digital products. So these things are still selling on autopilot. That's the beautiful thing about digital products, right? But my consulting services, my coaching services, guess what? In the month of July and in the month of December, because I take the entire month off, I'm not making money off of those services. So that means that during the months that I work, during the 10 months of the year that I work in my business, I need to make enough money during those 10 months that when I'm off for the 2 months, I have enough money in my business to do a few things, pay all of my business bills, to pay the freelancers, right? To pay the independent contractors that I hire, and to have money, cushion money to do the things, right? And so you got to make sure you got that, right? And so the initial cost might run you. You've got to have these things. And so you got to consider it before you sit down. I have a girl who is a client of mine right now, and she was very frustrated that she was paying for her simple practice for a year and not making any money. Well, one, if she had listened to me, she wouldn't have had the simple practice for a year, because why would you get it and you weren't ready to start your business? That's first and foremost. And two, you got to spend some money to make some money. There are initial costs. I get why she had her simple practice back then. She had to learn it. She had to set it up. She had to do the things, right? And it just happened to take her a year to do that because she had other things on her plate. That happens sometimes. You're going to eat that money. Now she's making the money back, but she almost got into a point where she was like, oh, I just want to start spending this money my business is making. And I'm like, no, you're not at the point where you can start spending money out of your business. You are only a few months into your new business. You need to wait a couple years. You need to have a good cushion and savings in your accounts. And so you have to consider your initial costs and ongoing expenses. I just did it again. I just erased the stupid freaking banner, and hopefully we can get it back. We did get it back. Okay, so again, consider the potential initial costs and ongoing expenses. And then finally, 5, am I willing to invest time in acquiring new skills or improving existing ones? A lot of times, many of my clients will come into the Patreon community. They will take my digital course. Hell, they'll even shell out the big dollars and hire me for direct one-on-one consulting or coaching. And then they don't want to put in the work to do what they need to do to get to the next level. They want it to be very easy. I just want it to be easy. And I'm like, well, learning is not always easy because it's learning, right? Some things are easy. Some things are going to pose a bit more difficulty for you, but you still have to put in the time. It will change your life. It will change your life. Putting in the time that I put in to acquire the skills that I now have, that I now share with you guys, took a long time. It took a solid 10 years, but the way my life is set up now compared to what it was 10 years ago, the opportunities I've created for myself with this business, the flow of money I've created for myself with this business, that is solely mine. Can't nobody come and say, oh, you did this, you're fired, right? Oh, you did this. This is just so atrocious. I don't know what's up with the Anyway, the caricature that I'm playing. But anyway, you don't have anybody doing that. So in order to get there, you have to invest time learning new skills, honing skills. You have to, and you have to ask yourself, are you willing to do that? Are you really willing to put in the time that it needs or that you need to put in to change your life? Now, the thing is, like I said at the top of this video, anybody can be an entrepreneur, but it's not for everybody. Everybody doesn't have the mindset. Everybody doesn't have the wherewithal or the tenacity or the dedication or the consistency to do these things. Can they hone those things? Yes. But everybody's not going to. And the thing is, everybody doesn't need to. As an entrepreneur, I need people to work for me, right? Whether they're freelance, employee, independent contractor, whatever it is, I need these people or my business cannot be effective. And people who work need employers so they can work and make money. It's a symbiotic relationship between the two. And so I would never, ever shit on somebody who says, I don't want to be an entrepreneur. But I meet a lot of people who think they want to be entrepreneurs and they're not having these real conversations with themselves. So these are merely 5 questions that you can ask yourself to determine your readiness for entrepreneurship. And if you really want to get deep with it and really have a real conversation with yourself, go ahead and grab the 34 questions that I've put together for you in a PDF. It'll be linked to the description box. It'll be linked in the description box below this video. Grab those 34 questions and go through them, answer them, and have a real, honest conversation with yourself. Are you ready to be an entrepreneur? But that's all I have for you today, guys. And of course, as usual, this is your girl, Michelle, saying, stop waiting. The time is now. Start your social work business. Bye for now.